Hey guys, what's up? I wanted to come on here, give you a bit of a vlog update as to what's been happening. I'm sure you've been noticing that there's been a lot more videos coming out this week, besides the ones that I did several weeks ago that I scheduled to premiere throughout this summer. You know, because of the fact that my mom is off work and it's her seasonal break. Yeah, you know, I surprisingly have had opportunities to do these videos. And the reason I've had opportunities is mainly due to the fact that this past week, my third oldest nephew was here with us from late Sunday evening to today, late afternoon, just about 50 minutes ago, actually. My mom took him back. It's about 5:15 p.m. Pacific time right now. And she just took him back. Well, she didn't necessarily take him back, but she took him to my older sister's because his dad's getting off work. And, you know, he doesn't want to, you know, his dad, that is, doesn't want to travel an extra, I would say, 20 miles from Turlock to Newman to get his son and then go back to, you know, the home on the edge of Modesto and Empire, basically in the Modesto region, if you will. So you know, so basically they worked it out to where his dad would go to my older sister's and pick him up there, which honestly I don't blame my brother-in-law for doing, because when you work 8 to 12-hour days, the last thing you want to do as an extracurriculum activity is go an extra 20-30 miles to pick up your kid if your kid is staying the night or the week, you know, at his relatives, whether it's his cousins or his grandparents or whatever. You know, the last thing you want to do is travel an extra 20 to 30 miles to pick him up after you've worked an 8 to 12-hour day. So they worked it out to where she would drop him off there, and at the same time she would visit, you know, my older sister, see how things are going there, and then probably come back, which is why right now I'm doing this vlog update, because if you hear this right here, you know, the door is right now open to the hallway that goes into the living room because of the fact that my mom took my third oldest nephew to my older sister's to be picked up by his dad. But one thing you may have noticed, like I said, is the fact that I've been doing a lot more videos this week, and it's because of the fact that my nephew was here. And because of the fact that my mom was occupied, you know, watching him, trying to make sure he got stuff to eat, got something to eat throughout the week, you know, lunch, breakfast, whatever, dinner, as well as, you know, playing games with him, like board games, you know, watching movies. Those were actually some of the only times I had to do videos throughout this week. And also the fact that I got up early, as I mentioned in a couple of videos, prior to my mom being off for the summer from her job. You know, I said that one of the opportunities I would be able to probably work out or take advantage of is getting up early before anybody else and doing some videos. And you know, that's what I've been doing. And I know some people have been noticing in the videos that I've been like a little tired at times. I've been stuttering or being repetitive in words, and that's basically because it's early. It's early, and I'm doing these videos unscripted, but I'm trying to do them so I can get extra content out there for you guys to watch, as well as help my channel to be monetized as well. But besides that, you know, this past week, like I said, you know, we had my nephew here, which allowed me to have those opportunities. And, you know, the one thing about my nephew, my third oldest nephew, is, you know, with each generation that passed, if you will, with each nephew or niece that my mom has watched, I could tell you honestly, the more she watches them throughout their growth, is the more she kind of starts learning, you know, that, you know, things are changing, and that perhaps in a way, not saying they would, but perhaps in a way that kind of sneakily and mischievously, you know, taking advantage, you know, of my mom, if you will. And what I mean by that is the fact that one thing I've noticed with my mom and my third oldest nephew this past week is I know his mom, my sister, my second oldest sister, wants to make sure he's on a right schedule. On a decent schedule, basically, even when he's off school. But, she can't really help that when he's off school during the summer. But she'll get him back into that schedule next month, maybe towards the end of this month. But she can't help it when a majority of the rest of the month, he could pretty much have his free reign, if you will. But like I said, the one thing I noticed is my mom would try to get him to, do certain things, to help him out. Like she would tell him, hey, you need to take a shower within 10 minutes on a certain day, or you have 30 minutes before you have to shut everything down and get to bed. Well, the one thing I've noticed, and I'm sure my mom is not alone in this, is, she'll tell him that, but when it comes time for her to enforce it, basically be like, okay, it's time to take a shower, or okay, it's time to go to bed, he always finds a way to mischievously manipulate her. I wouldn't say manipulate, but he would basically mischievously find a way to get her to give him an extra 10 to 20 minutes. Well, actually, maybe an extra 10. I shouldn't say 20 minutes. I should say more along the lines of an extra 5 to 10 minutes. And my mom, she gives it to him. She gives it to him, and her reasoning is, hey, he's off school right now. Let him have his fun and everything. But that eventually it's gonna catch up with him. And today it did. Today it did, because he went to bed late last night, as usual. And he got up early today because my mom was going to take him to my older sister's, like I mentioned. And what happened is that because he got up early, if you will, because he got up early, he ended up napping around, I would say, around noon, a little after 12 o'clock this afternoon. He started to nap again. And he napped on my grandpa's recliner, which my mom has. And it's all because he went to bed late and he got up early. But this is nothing, apparently. This is nothing compared, apparently, to what my second older sister said that he did weeks prior to coming down here. Yeah, you see, my second older sister, she likes to call up my mom every other day throughout the week to, just to converse, see how she's doing and all that. But so anyway, what I'm trying to get at, what I'm trying to say here is, anyway, during one of those conversations, she told my mom that my third oldest nephew, who she just, like I said, took to my older sister's today to be picked up by his dad, that a few weeks prior to coming down here at their home, he didn't wake up, my third oldest nephew that was here, he didn't wake up till about 4 o'clock. And the reason she told my mom this is because she had been watching my niece's and her fiance's daughter, my great niece, while they were working. So when the fiance came to pick my great niece up, which was around 4, around that time frame, that's when my third oldest nephew, who, like I said, was just here, was waking up out of his bed at his house. And it surprised my mom. She was like, really? 4 o'clock? That's late. And it's all because he stayed up late playing games. Now look, I shouldn't judge or anything because I'm a night bird sometimes. A lot of us are. But, even as teenagers, we too stayed up late during the summers because, we were off. We wanted to enjoy ourselves. But if I'm going to tell you from a personal point of view, our schedule being off during the summer when we were teenagers is nothing compared to what these kids are doing nowadays, because theirs are completely off schedule, probably way more than anything, if you will. But yeah, my sister told my second oldest sister told my mom that. It surprised her, and the reason I bring that up is because he nearly did that this week when he was here. He nearly did that again. I think on Wednesday he nearly did that again, and thankfully he didn't, but he came close. He came close because what he does is when he does get off the games, after my mom tells him, hey, you got 30 minutes or so, then you got to turn everything off and get to bed. What he does is when he gets off the games and then he goes to bed, this is what he does. And my mom has noticed this because I think she sees the light coming from it. This is what he does. He goes on the bed, lays down, but he turns his back from her, and he has his phone on like this. You know, he has his phone on like that. He turns his back to her, and he has his phone on. So he has his, what I'm trying to say is he has his phone on. Easy for me to say. He has his phone on, and he's still, you know, basically up, being on his phone, playing games or doing something. So yeah, he nearly did it again while he was here. He nearly slept till 4 while he was here. And like I said, you know, even though we love having him here and he likes to spend time with my mom and watch movies and play games, it's like, again, as I mentioned, I think my mom is learning that, yeah, I think these kids are trying to take advantage of me, and I shouldn't allow it, but, you know, they are off, and there's not really much I can do. And that is true. That is true. There's not really much she can do. But, yeah, like I said, you know, he was here, and I think, and the reason I bring this all up is because I think my mom is starting to realize this, because moments before she left to take him to my oldest sister's, she looked at me like, you know, his mom, because he had to go use the facilities after she did. He has to use the facilities after she did. And, you know, he took his time. He was taking his time a little longer than, you know, he should before, you know, going home or being picked up or whatever. And my mom just looked at me like, you know, his dad doesn't like to wait. Like, you know, she nodded her head. She kind of nodded her head in that no position. And he's like, and she just looked at me, like I said, and said, his dad doesn't like to wait. Because I think now she's catching on that he's kind of taking advantage of the hospitality. He's taking advantage of it. And again, I know he's off. I understand he's off, like a lot of the kids are off right now because of summer. But still, it's no excuse to take advantage. When somebody tells you, especially when you're put in their care and you're their responsibility, when somebody tells you, hey, you need to be, you know, off the games in 30 minutes, or you need to take a shower within this time frame, you need, and honestly, you need to respect what that person tells you and do exactly what they ask. And I'm not saying he doesn't do that. He does. But lately I've noticed on a couple of occasions, especially during this week, he will ask for an extra 10 or 5 minutes, you know, because he wants to play his games or something, and stuff like that. And then when after that passes, sometimes he'll be like, you know what, as far as the shower goes, I'll wait till the next day. I'll wait till the next day. And again, you know, when my sister talks to my mom on the phone, especially when she's watching him and he tries to pull this crap, my sister calls him out on it. And I may not be in the room when she does. I'm either in here, or when I was working, I may be at work. But I can almost sense in a way that there's like this little smile that gets on his face, like this little sneaky smile. Like as soon as his mom catches him on the phone, like she calls him out on the phone, this like little smile comes on his face, like hee 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 hee. You know, it's like he knows he got caught, and then he ends up having to do, you know, what my mom would ask him to do, his grandma would ask him to do. But most of the time he does listen. I'm not denying that. Most of the time he does listen. It's just, I think the older he gets as a teenager, the more sneaky and mischievous he's going to be. Like, he'll still listen, he'll still do what he's asked, but he'll be a little bit more sneaky and mischievous. But yeah, because of the fact he's been here, you know, I've been able to do videos a lot more, like I mentioned, with this camera and stuff. The only consequence sometimes is, you know, you will catch my mom's voice on there sometimes, because, you know, she'll ask me something or she'll tell me something, and I don't intend for that to happen, but it happens. You know, there's not really much you can do. I mean, if you want good proof of this, you know, just ask Alex. Just ask, you know, Alex Hicks, formerly Delexman, or ask Sean McLean, Zara Nizarak of Multimedia Chronicles. You know, because they've dealt with the same stuff. You know, they dealt with the same stuff. But yeah, you know, he was here, and it was, you know, but like I said, he was here. It gave me an opportunity to do videos and stuff, even during the day when I usually wouldn't. But yeah, you know, not really much happened except yesterday. when all of a sudden I'm sitting in my chair like this. I'm on my computer, and next thing I know, I'm feeling going back and forth like this, and I'm like, what's going on? And all of a sudden, it just registers with me, we're having an earthquake. And there was an earthquake, not that far from here, which was a 4.8, but it was enough to affect us. It was enough to affect us because we felt it. I felt it, like I said, because I was on my chair, and I was going like this, and I was like, what the heck? But it was an earthquake. And it was basically the earth shifting, and I think it's due to the fact of the hot weather. The hot weather is what caused the earth to shift. That's what happened. It caused the earth, to shift. And it surprised a lot of us. And everybody on the Facebook group pages, Newman Neighborhood Watch, Patterson Neighborhood Watch, everybody was like, was that an earthquake? Did you feel that? What the heck? My sister went on Facebook, and she, in caps and exclamation points, went, earthquake! That's my second oldest sister. And that was at a time I think my older sister was going down there to pick up her granddaughter. Or something like that, or to visit, or do something. And there was an earthquake. It was like, what the heck? But again, but again, it was the earth shifting. It was the earth shifting due to the fact that we haven't had that much moisture, and the fact that it's hot. And when it's hot and you don't have moisture, the earth is going to shift. So yeah, we had an earthquake, and thankfully it didn't do any harm. Thank the Lord. But it was enough to really get our attention. I mean, we've had little minor ones to where it's like I feel something, and I'm like, was that an earthquake? And then I just brush it off. This, I'm like, I ain't brushing this off, because the moment it happened, 5 minutes afterwards, the news comes on. Not breaking news or anything, but, well, it was breaking news at the beginning of the broadcast. But the regular news comes on with the breaking news of, yep, we just had an earthquake. We just had an earthquake. And it was a surprise. And it was a big, big surprise. And if you're of religious belief, like a lot of people are, including myself, this is a sign of the times. This is that sign of God's shaking you up and he's saying, hey, you don't want me to do this anymore. Get your acts together. So it's just one of those situations. It's just one of those situations where it's unexpected when it happens. But when it happens, it gets your attention. And this got our attention. So thankfully, there was no damage or anything where we were. But there was a little bit of damage, from what I understand. Basically stuff being knocked off or anything and everything, from shelves, where it was closest at. But everywhere else wasn't that bad, as far as I know, except for maybe a few mudslides or rocks falling. But overall, it wasn't too bad. I think it was just like God's way of shaking us up and saying, "Get your act together," basically telling us, "Get your act together, get that vaccine," or something like that. Or, "Get your act together and stop over-exaggerating this, disease and stuff." I don't know, but it was a real surprise. I'll tell you that it was a real genuine surprise, and I can't say any more than that, honestly. And that was like, I've been here going on, what is it now? I've been here going on for 14 years, just as long as my third oldest nephew's been alive. In November, it's going to be 14 years. And I can tell you honestly, that was the first major one I felt in a long time, since I've been back, honestly. But besides that, everything else has been alright. I mean, like I said, I've been able to do videos surprisingly during the day. Of course, getting up early, like I've done, where, we're basically like, kind of like right now, I'm sure a lot of people will point this out, I would sound repetitive or stuttery or something like that. Because, of course, a lot of my videos, as you know, are unscripted. So, when you do an unscripted video, you got to think on the fly about what you're going to say next. So your mind's constantly working. And I've gotten up a couple of times during the early portions of the morning and done videos because, of course, I want to get extra content out for you guys to enjoy. And thankfully, you guys have been enjoying it. Well, at least some of you have, because one video that I'm probably going to do a response to that I did has gotten surprisingly almost 400 views, or getting close to 400 views in less than 48 hours. And it's basically the video where I talk about Netflix may not want to have anything to do with the Masters of the Universe franchise after all the backlash, you know, the Kevin Smith Revelation series is getting. But, you know, but that's just an opinion video. That's just an opinion video. Nothing wrong with it. But yet, when I put it on the, when I linked it onto the Master of the Universe fans Facebook page, all of a sudden you got all these people coming out and saying, "Oh, this is clickbait. This is not." I think it's a bunch of kids too, as well. Kids that have not seen the original Filmation series. So if I pause there for a second, I was thinking about what I was going to say next. But yeah, basically, I think it's a bunch of, you know, younger generations that haven't seen the Filmation series, and I guarantee if they do, they'll know exactly what we're talking about. You know what we're trying to get at. But yeah, you know, I have people, you know, basically commenting on that in a negative way. And again, I'm thinking it's just a bunch of young kids that don't understand what I'm trying to say. You know, it's just an opinion. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's just an opinion. But anyway, like I said, I've been able to do videos like that and stuff, as well as watch the videos that I did several weeks ago that would premiere throughout the summer because my mom is off, premiering and actually getting some views as well. But anyway, though, guys, this video has gone on long enough, and I'm sure I've stuttered and been repetitive, you know, long enough for you guys to be like, "Oh, when is he going to shut up?" kind of deal, you know. So I just wanted to come on here, let you know what's happening, you know, well, what's been happening, and I want to thank you guys also for, you know, subscribing to the channel and liking the videos. It's really helping out. And that's all I'm going to say, guys. So till next time, take care. God bless. Like the video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I'll let people know to subscribe here because I have a variety of content I think they will enjoy. And that's really about it. So till next time, people, peace out, God bless, and I'm out of here. Talk to you later.